to Tarnow in Poland, a few hundred miles west. And this guy was prolific. He had 8 children. Of the 8 children, one of them was Mendel, our grandfather, and another one was Sarah, our maternal grandmother. Our parents were twins, were cousins.
Twins.
Were cousins.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Would explain a lot.
Yeah, it would explain a lot.
Now,
Sharon, that's what I said over here.
Adam,
the
obvious result.
our grandfather Mendel was born in about 1870, and then Ruja, the first of the children, was born in 1893, and Pop was born
I thought
in
Sala was older.
No, what?
Wasn't Sala older?
Yeah, 1893.
You said
You
Ruja.
said Russia.
The same person.
Sala?
No.
No, Sala was not the oldest.
No?
Ruja.
All right. Now, and then my father, and later Sala was born, and Henrik was the youngest of the 4 children. And here there was a tremendous movement. 2 of the family came to America, and 2 went to Israel. Ruja got married in the summer of 1914. And when the war broke out, she was in Geneva with Sue Sharfstein, and they came to America and they avoided the war. Our father was less fortunate. He was in the Austrian army for 4 years, and like the rest of the army, they all deserted at the end of the war. And then Poland became an independent nation, and the Soviet Union went to war with Poland, and they wanted to take him in the army, and instead he came to America. So Ruja and our father came to America. Sala got married in Tarnow in 1924, and when she went to Israel, I don't know. But Henrik, the youngest, studied engineering and came in the Chalutz movement with the Shomer Tzair in the early 1930s. So our family spread out tremendously within this one generation. And then we know the family in Israel grew tremendously. Henrik has two sons, and they have a bunch of children, and now they're grandchildren. So quite a few generations. My mother's family, my mother came here a few years after my father. They got married. Dolik went to Israel. Ida came to America. And she came to America to help my mother when I was born. Because my mother had a stillbirth before me. And, it's a terrible trauma. So she came to help. She came and stayed here illegally.
To help with you?
And then later on, she normalized herself after the Second World War.
Illegal immigrant.
Alien.
That also explains why.
And the other one, Tilla, got married, and she and her husband died in the Holocaust.
Where were they still in?
I didn't know she was
Where were
married.
they?
My mother's family had moved
Her
to
That's why she didn't
Vienna.
come here?
Her husband declared himself stateless because he didn't want to be German. That's why they couldn't move. They didn't.
Oh.
And my family couldn't afford to make the passage. By the time they got some money, it was too late.
See, I thought she was young. I
And
didn't know
now, in
He's
this,
the youngest.
in the next generation,
You left out one, Dolik.
Yeah,
No, he mentioned Dolik.
and
He said Dolik was his.
sorry, and Dolik, I think the youngest child who went to Israel in the Chalutz movement, I think maybe a little after Henrik, or roughly similar time.
Dolik was young when he went to Israel.
Yeah.
He told me stories. He was very young when he went to
That
Israel.
was Henrik.
Didn't he walk?
Now, Dolik
He rode
in
a
World
donkey
War
from
I,
Beersheba.
Dolik in World War I was shipped to Holland because in Vienna there was food was very scarce, and he spent the First World War as a child in Holland. And the family, in gratitude, sent food and oranges to the Dutch family for many, many years.
Wait a minute, why did he go to Holland? Why did he go to Holland?
Because his family was living in Vienna, and Vienna was under siege a lot, and there was not enough food with each kid, so they were able to send it to Holland. And then the family begins even more to separate. Martin's family moved from New York down to Washington, Virginia area, Danny and Sewell and Sharon and so on. And Sharon followed in the footsteps of another generation and went to Israel and has her family there. And we see, without going into all the details, that in this little family here, we replicate the story of the Jewish people. I don't want to go into more detail, you know the detail. But our little family has spread all over the world, and it's certainly true that the younger people will also move maybe to other areas of the country and so on. And it is the fate of the Jewish people, small and big, to travel all over the world. And lastly, Martin and Barbara end up in Florida.
Yes.
So,
We're half of New Yorkers.
so I asked Martin, why did you move to Florida? And he said, it's too cold for me in the north. Fair enough. But I go down there, and everyone's like in a bubble of air conditioning. You have to wear gloves. That's all right. Then I call up Martin, and I say, Martin, what's happened? He says, I can't talk. I have an appointment with my ophthalmologist today. And my internist tomorrow. On Wednesday, I'm going to my dermatologist. Thursday, I have a day off. And Friday, I'm going to
Cardiologist.
another doctor. So I said, Martin, I don't go to doctors. So he said, you're in denial.
You are.
But then I said, Martin, are you sick? He says, not at all. I said, why do you go to doctors? He says, it's the best social game in town.
No, it's our job, David, it's our job.
Wait a second. It's the best social game. I go to the doctor, and immediately I tell him I'm fine. We start talking. He says, you know, this doctor went to yeshiva, and this doctor didn't go to yeshiva. This doctor lived in Brooklyn. This doctor wanted to live in Brooklyn. And he gives me fantastic stories. Martin has the skill, when he meets a doctor in 10 minutes, to know the doctor's life better than the doctor knows.
It's important to know his credentials, David.
Huh?
Credentials. You want to know
Know
the
the
doctor.
credential? I stay away. Gotta be really, even if it's serious, I don't go to the doctor.
I know. I remember when you were
David,
on the
David.
phone.
David,
Huh?
now let's talk a different story.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go.
How many years did you have problems
Yeah,
with
with
your
the
brain
throat.
and the operation
Yeah.
on your throat when one simple pill going to a doctor alleviated all your problems?
You sounded
All right.
awful on the phone.
Were you in denial on
Wait
that?
a second.
Denial is a river in
Wait a
Egypt.
First of all, it turns out the pill is partially effective. I'm not so sure that it's the whole solution. But being out of breath is not so bad. You just have to try to breathe a little more. It's not that bad.
Okay.
So
Serve
anyway,
the wine.
all right. Now, here's
Just
what
the
we would
wine.
like to offer you. We would like to offer all of you who would like a nice glass of wine. Connie baked a pie. We have some other refreshments.
How old the wine? How old?
How old?
In Portugal,
How old would you want it?
1934. Okay.
What year were you born?
Well, his here.
He's here. We want a nice bottle of 1934 vinegar. Oh, I'm sorry.
30.
That was 17 and 19.
Wait. Is it shut down?
Long Chanel.
Gee, I remember that well.
Yeah.
All right, now.
We have ice in it?
You smell good.
61?
61, my old. Ah, yes.
I know a lot of times.
Can we put
61?
outside?
Yes.
Can we put
So you
some
want
ice in it,
Martin,
David?
not Chanel.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
That is too good a year.
Why?
That's a great year.
Yes.
Oh.
How
See,
many would like a glass of wine? Raise your hand.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna give out the award now. Danny?
I'll get the other stuff.